Diastasis, Recti, Repair System, Video 1. The rules, the breathing, the alignment. This one is the most important one of the three. It may seem like the most simple one, but this is where we change our mindset in order to change how our body works. This is where we connect the mind to the body to make sure that during the practice time and throughout our day that we're focused on the right things in order to make our injury heal. You cannot focus on your injury for a few minutes a day and expect a change. It has to be a constant mindset for you. So we're changing that mindset today. Here are your rules. When you are going about your daily life or exercising, you do not want to lift both feet off of the floor at the same time. For instance, this is not going to happen. Instead, you will be able to lift one leg at a time, safely, not both. When you are lying down on your back, you will not lift your head, other than for your check day. When you're checking your diastasis in your journal, that is the only time you will lift your head. Otherwise, your head will always stay down when you're lying down. Your next rule is that when you go from lying to seated, you turn onto your side and use your arms to bring you up. When you go from seated to lying down, you go down onto your side using your arms and then roll over onto your back. Those are your basic rules for your day. Now let's talk about how to work on your alignment. So your alignment has to happen in every position that you're in all day. So starting from seated, and I recommend that you practice this in front of a mirror for the first few days. Head, the top of your head, which is actually over your ears, not your forehead, the top of your head, over your ears, over your shoulders, over your hips. So look at yourself from the side. The top of your head, over your shoulders, over your hips. Most of the time when I check people, they sit like this. So pull yourself to straight. The top of your head back here needs to get taller. So a lot of times we end up rounded and pushed forward here. If you just push your crown taller, that will fix most of your alignment problems. Immediately from here, your core has to be turned on and working. So allow that to happen and keep it strong. Other things about your alignment. You want to be strong on the lowest part of your core that supports you. And that means that you get a feeling like you're zipping up something that's a little tight. So be firm, be tight, from hip bone to hip bone, strong underneath the navel area. Find your ribs. If your ribs poke out, you want to push them back in, using the strength of your core to keep your ribs flat. A lot of times when we let it go, these ribs will poke out. So keep them strong, flat, and pushed in. Make your shoulders pulled down and away from your ears. So instead of rolled forward like this, we push them down, back, and strong behind us. Shoulders back, ribs flat, strong across here. Those are a lot of things to think about. But that's our seated alignment. Our standing alignment is the same. When we stand, and I'll stand back for you just a little bit. When we stand, put your feet under your hip bones, under your shoulders, under the top of your head. Looking at it from the side, the tailbone has to tuck under just a little bit. Don't let it shoot out because this will spill forward. Tuck the tailbone under to tuck the core under. Shoulders are strong behind us, and the top of the head is very tall. We want to make the insides of our thighs is strong and pulling upward, which helps with that strong feeling right across here. Strong from hip bone to hip bone and nice and flat and pulled in. Double check your ribs when you stand that they're flat and your core is strong and that your shoulders don't begin to lift and round, but they're behind you and strong. Then from lying on our back, and again, when we lie on our back, we're going to do it like this. When we lie on our back, this is the healthiest posture for someone who's having low back pain. And it helps you too because this will strengthen your core when you're lying down. Tuck your tailbone underneath you to protect your lower back. That does not necessarily mean that your entire back is going to be flat on the mat. Everybody's spine has a curve. Celebrate the curve and don't force it to do something that it doesn't want to do. Just tuck it under. Then you have the strength from here to here. Flat and strong. Shoulders strong behind you. Immediately, your ribs are going to want to poke out. So what do? Make this part strong to pull the ribs flat. Then push the top of your head away from your body and your shoulders down away from your ears. That makes your spine longer. And from here, you already have strength across your core to keep you steady. You also already have strength coming in from your legs to pull this nice and flat. Practice those 3 positions every time you get into each one of them. Double check how you sit, how you stand, and how you lie down all throughout your day. Now here's your exercises that I want you to work on for 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the middle of the day, and 5 minutes in the evening. So what am I asking for? I'm asking for 15 minutes a day of practicing your breathing and strength in your core for these next 2 weeks before we add the next video. This is the most important thing that you can do to add core strength. So, in that perfect alignment from a seated position, finding the ribs that are nice and flat, hips nice and flat, and shoulders behind you, have your hands right here, it will help you. When you breathe in, breathe up and under your rib cage and through the nose. This is Pilates breath. Exhale, strong and flat from your mouth. Breathe in through your nose, but this does not poke out. It goes in, up and under your rib cage. When you exhale strong and flat across your ribs and your entire core. When you breathe in, pull the navel up and under, like it's pulling up, under, and into your ribs. Exhale to flat and strong. This should feel like you're working your core muscles and keeping them strong. Keep the core contraction. Do not let it go at the bottom. Keep it strong. Breathing in, up and under the rib cage. Exhale to flat. Nice and strong. You will make noise when you're doing this. Breathe in through your nose. Open your ribs. Pull the tummy up and under. Exhale. Really flat and strong across here. Again, not a belly breath. Breathe by pulling up and under your ribs. Exhale to flat. Then you will stand. You will practice the same thing from a standing position. Feet right underneath you. Get yourself solid into your ground. Pull yourself tall and then push that tailbone down. Find that alignment. Breathe in. Up and under your ribs. Expand your ribs. Exhale. Really flat, really strong. Breathe in. Keeping this up and in. Exhale flat. Very strong. Breathing in. Up and under your rib cage. Exhale to flat. Keeping it strong. And after a couple of minutes of standing, you will do the same thing from the supine lying position. Lying flat on your back. Tuck your tailbone underneath you. Make your shoulders strong. Push the top of your head away. Make this nice and flat. Find your rib cage. Get it flat. Breathe in. Pull up and under. Expanding your ribs out. Exhale. Really flat, really strong. Breathe in until you feel it in your upper back. Pull those core muscles in. Exhale to flat. Nice and strong. Breathe in. Up and under. Exhale to flat. Nice and strong. Breathe in. Keep your torso still and strong like a board. Exhale to flat. Knitting across your ribs. Practice for a couple of minutes from that lying position. So you have breathing exercises 5 minutes a day in the morning, middle of the day, and the evening, 15 minutes a day. But practice your alignment and keeping all of this strong and intact all day. So as soon as you notice that you're falling out of it, pull yourself back in. And the more of a habit you make out of pulling yourself back in, the faster your results are going to come. Let me know what questions you have about the first video. Video number 1 of the Diastasis Recti repair system. We will measure 2 weeks after you've started the first video. So keep your journal.